Hey there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari,
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr.
and no Cheryl Nelson today. We're
Yeah,
thinking of her though. We are thinking of her.
yeah, I had to change my hair up a little bit. You know, summertime. I don't know why I'm shaking my hair like this, but
It
it
is
feels
right. Is it officially summer, or is it just after Memorial Day weekend? It's like that's the unofficial start of summer here.
right. Well, see, the pools open up. Okay,
Oh,
so
that's the start.
technically, yeah. I mean, it's summer. Anytime the pools. I mean, I saw them cleaning the pools about a week or so ago, preparing for Memorial Day weekend, and now that the weekend has passed, it's like, all right, go take a dip. So what are you looking forward to this summer? I know last summer you kind of did some traveling, right?
Yeah, I'm going to the lake with my family, which I'm really excited about. That's something we did when I was growing up, and it's nice to kind of just get back to that. I think when you become an adult, sometimes you forget about that fun stuff that you did with your family. So I'm really excited to get back to a lake with my family. What are your thoughts? What are you doing for summer?
I know outside of I got one cruise ship gig that's coming up, so that's always summer for me, even in the wintertime. but we're also going to our parents' house, well, to my parents' house down in Texas, and they just got a swimming pool. So I know that's going to be a lot of fun. But what's crazy is my dad likes to plant stuff. Like, are you a gardening type person? Because I didn't realize he
Yeah,
was.
my apartment said no, but I would like to put like a lemon tree on my porch. We'll see.
Yeah, well, clearly I have taken care of Dr. Kim. So, she's doing just fine over
She doesn't
there.
look like she needs much water, much
No,
attention.
no, not at all. But, what you guys need is a great show, and we definitely have one lined up for you, including, Danielle, we're going to be learning how to handle loans to family members. That can always be shaky. Plus, we're
Mm.
checking on a cute service dog named Barney, and we learned the truth about Pride Month.
That's right. We're also going to get to meet a teacher that is making an impact in Santa Barbara and hear about how Cox Communications is making an impact with their 34 by 34 program. But first, we meet some newlyweds who are taking homegrown food to another level right here on Main Street Living. Welcome back into Main Street Living Q. It is the time of year when many of us start to think about planting a garden and just imagining having enough juicy tomatoes and zucchini to share with the entire neighborhood.
That's right. And our next guests are doing something like that all year round with their new venture in Chester, Arkansas. Welcome, newlyweds, Timothy and Nena from Homegrown Native Foods. How you guys doing?
Doing very good.
We're doing great. Thank you for having us today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, newlyweds, you guys is, taking care of the people in your neighborhoods. You two started Homegrown Native Foods in 2021. What is the unique part about your restaurant?
We focus on foods that were here before colonization. So no beef, no chicken. We have pork at the moment, but only in our breakfasts. And we're focusing on native plants, animals, and fungi. And the reason for that is the increased nutritional value and the increased flavor value. And so we're trying to give people, something a little different to try and see if it makes them feel a little better.
Awesome.
So obviously it's different. What do you think is surprising to your diners when they first eat at Homegrown Native Foods?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think people are surprised at the quality of our food. So neither of us are trained chefs. We just love food and we love to cook. I actually have a degree in environmental studies and Tim has a degree in horticulture. But I think people come in, expecting something good, but then are very happily surprised when our food exceeds those expectations. And that's just a product really of good quality ingredients, fresh ingredients, and just simple cooking techniques.
Yeah, and that's also cool, and I can hear the passion in your voice for what you both do. But Nina, I'll stick with you on this question. Like, why is it so important to give people the experience of locally grown food?
I think it just draws people back to your roots. When I grew up, we always had a garden, and I think that was the way that it used to be. And I think people are looking for that. People are looking for something that they can relate to, that's more wholesome, and the food just tastes better. I always tell people tomatoes are a perfect example of people are like, oh, I don't like tomatoes. But if you've had one fresh out of the garden, you can't not like it. So I think just getting people to taste those fresh foods kind of reignites a passion for food and connects them to other people.
Yeah, we had a guy last week that didn't like pickles, so
Yep.
We got to get him back on the train. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you guys are just letting the food sing for itself. It doesn't need to be all these things that you're doing with the cooking. You're just letting the good food do that. The farm to table movement has obviously been gaining traction for a while. Is that the same thing as what you guys are doing here? Why do you think people are starting to pay attention now?
It's very similar. We rely heavily on our farmers locally. We get from a lot of farmers. We even have mushrooms right now from local farmers here in Arkansas, and so it's an amazing thing to really get to do. And
As I say, I think that what we're doing is similar in that we do a lot of farm to table things, but a lot of ours is also forage to table. So like later today, after this interview, Tim's going to go out into the Ozark Mountains and round up what greens he can to make a seasonal salad tomorrow. So we kind of hybridize foraging with sourcing from our local farms. So we're kind of a mix of both. And we know of just a few other restaurants in the country right now that are doing forage to table kind of movements and focusing on foods specific to where they are. So I think we're kind of on the forefront of that and melding that with farm to table.
Yeah, and it's cool because it looks like you guys are taking a step in the right direction as far as leading folks. But for the viewers who are not in Arkansas, what's your advice for growing their own food or finding other restaurants like yours?
There's a lot of resources to find the foods that you need to grow in your own garden. You can go to any First Nation, any indigenous tribe in your local area and talk to them. Sometimes they have resources and books on native plants. Botanical gardens in your area will absolutely have native, edible, and poisonous lookalike plants and stuff like that, so you can make sure you're getting the right things. And there's tons of publications. And then also, we'll have a page on our website here soon where you can look up locations, restaurants across the country that are doing something similar to what we're doing, and find something local to eat in your neck of the woods.
Wow.
So I have to know, what are some of the common local foods?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. And honestly, Tim is more the expert on the foraging part, so I'll let you take this one.
We have 23 native fruits to Northwest Arkansas. We've got fruit something similar to about 10 months out of the year. So fresh fruit. So it's a huge variety. We've got pawpaws, mulberries, blackberries. We've got beauty berries in the winter, persimmons in the fall. When it comes to vegetables, we've got tons of tubers. We've got a lotus, which is as good as or better than a potato, and it looks like a wagon wheel. And I mean, how can you beat that?
Yeah, see, so I'm feeling very not healthy right now. I just ate some fast food before I started this show today. So you guys are telling me all these ways to make my body healthy, and I'm like, I'm not doing good at all. What's your signature dish? That because now I'm hungry now.
Yeah. Honestly, we're still kind of finding our specific flavor. Every cook and every chef kind of has their flavor, and we're so new that we're still looking for that. I think for me, the favorite dish that we've done so far was a native taco trio. We did a bison taco, a venison taco, and a mushroom taco on homemade corn tortillas. And it was absolutely wonderful. And we topped it with this wojape sauce, which is a Native American sauce that mixes berries with maple syrup and a little bit of salt. So we did cranberries, maple syrup, and salt, and just put that over the top of a couple of the tacos. And they were so good.
And then
homemade tortillas are the way to do it, for sure. How can viewers find more information about your guys' restaurant?
You can go to our website, homegrownnativefoods.com. You can call us to make a reservation. You can visit our Facebook, Instagram. We've got everything.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and congratulations on getting married. That's cool. You're mixing food and you're mixing together to bring the world something more natural. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today.
Yeah.
No problem. Well, Danielle, next up, we're getting closer, or well, they're getting closer, but we're getting a closer view on how much impact can one business actually have. Stay right there.
Mm. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, you know something that's wonderful about this world? Every single person has the ability to make changes, big or small, in their lives and communities, and that adds up to making the world a little bit better.
And I totally believe that. But when you put the resources of a big company like Cox behind an initiative to make a positive impact in our communities, Danielle, the results can be huge and life-changing.
That's right. Cox's 34 by 34 goal is on track to build a better future for the next generation. Let's take a look at the event that recently took place in California, getting Cox employees fired up to take action.
So the Cox purpose is to empower people today to build a better future for the next generation. And the 34 by 34 goal is to empower 34 million people to live more prosperous lives by 2034. So the way I see it, 34 by 34 really is the how. It's how Cox Communications, Cox Enterprises, Cox Auto, the whole Cox family is going to bring our purpose to life.
You know, I think the roadshow is really important for kicking off the 34 by 34 initiative because I think it creates the energy, right? And it gives the vision of the direction we're going. And I think it gives an opportunity for all our employees to see that.
I wanted to come here because I wanted to learn more of what else our company can offer and perhaps what I can teach my kids in the long run.
After looking at some of the festivities here, I'm fully aware of the importance, the value and the purpose of what the 34 by 34 initiative is.
34 by 34 is such a fantastic opportunity for our employees. It really brings together so many of our Cox initiatives, whether it's environmental sustainability, giving back to our communities, empowering our employees, empowering people who want to work for us. Brings it all together into one, and I just can't be more excited for it.
I love all the games that we have. It's very interactive, and I really enjoyed the message it was providing, and I wanted to find out more, be here in person and kind of see all the companies together, be part of the networking, as well as learning what I can do more in my backyard.
34 by 34 is so important because it really just embodies who we are as a company, and that is really trying to make the world a better place for the next generation. I think that it will help our employees to come together to look at what their coworkers are doing and how they're having an impact, and it will just make them feel proud of the company that they work for.
This whole goal allows us to make new connections, to make new partnerships, to really invest in our nonprofits and our educational systems so that we can make a better life for the people that we live near, our neighbors, for our communities.
See, this is so cool how Cox continues, Danielle, to be innovative in their connection to their surrounding communities. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can find more details about the program at cox34by34.com.
All right. Well, up next, there's nothing more impactful than keeping in touch with family, especially when your cousin is asking for a loan.
Oh, yeah.
We got more of that up next. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, if it seems like your paycheck isn't stretching as far these days, okay, you're not alone. And a lot of people are turning to short-term loans to get all of the bills paid. Crazy.
That's right. And many of those loans are coming from the people closest to us, our friends and family, which can come with a whole host of other issues. Caben Clausen with Pigeon Loans has some insight on how to make these friends and family loans simple and stress-free. Welcome to the show, Caben.
Thanks for having me, guys. Great to see you.
So, of course, money seems to be tighter and tighter with inflation still on the rise, and many Americans are borrowing and lending money with family and friends. What's causing this surge in this direction?
Yeah, it's such an interesting question. There's really been two key waves that have been affecting Americans. First, we had that pandemic, which put a lot of people into higher credit card debt. And it was kind of a hidden problem for a long time. Consumer debt was skyrocketing during the pandemic. And just as so many Americans, particularly young people, were recovering, now we're being hit by inflation that's, taking away, anywhere from 5 to 8% of someone's paycheck, depending on the state they live in. So what's happening is we're seeing people being pressured from both sides, right? We're seeing people that already have high debt, high student loan debt. And then we're also seeing a lot of people that don't have the traditional credit score in order to get other types of loans. And in this environment, going to friends and family is often your best option to get your funding, whether it's for a small business, to pay your rent, or an emergency cost.
It's interesting that you say that, and I'll pause for a second because just this morning, a fellow friend of mine in the industry, they called me. I'm thinking that they needed, something, but he needed money. He said, "Hey man, can you loan me this much money? But I'll get you back in 2 weeks." And the interesting thing is, Caben, millions of Americans are not able to get a traditional loan from a bank. So why are so many people left out of that credit system?
Yeah, it's really the 40 million invisible creditors. These are people there's 40 million Americans that either have a credit score that's so weak that they really can't get a rate outside of a payday lender. And it might surprise you guys, but a lot of people don't even have a credit score yet. A lot of younger Americans. Wow. And now what's funny about that conversation you just had is that's kind of the same conversation myself and my co-founder had with our friends over the years and our family over the years. And that's really why we started to work in this space. We realized that's a risky move. You send money to a friend, that's great. You can help them out. We want to help our friends. At the same time, that's one of the number one ways to ruin friendships. In fact, the number one reason friendships end is over money. Money is a huge pain for people, and it hurts both sides. If you're lending to people, you're worried about getting paid back. But also, if you're borrowing from people, you don't want to feel like a schmuck where someone's texting you every month, asking you to pay them back. It can just get really awkward. And I certainly have experienced that through my life, both as a borrower and a lender. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, well, wow. So to your point, borrowing from, lending to family and friends, usually a bad idea. Is that where you're at with this?
Well, it usually is. And that's why, what we're hoping with Pigeon Loans is what was really a bad idea before is now a better idea for people. And why was it such a bad idea before? I think inevitably and I've had these conversations, and I think most people watching, your show have had these conversations with family about money, with friends about money. Where it usually goes wrong is at the start. And where it goes wrong is you say, hey, you say to me, hey, Caben, pay me back when you can. I trust you, and that's great. And everyone has the best intentions going in, but how are you going to manage that loan? Remember, guys, in fact, on Pigeon Loans right now, the average loan is 16 months is the payback period. So a lot of these loans are much more long-term. These are people that are, needing to pay rent, needing to repair their car, start a small business, pay for a home down payment, a lot of different use cases. And imagine a 16-month relationship where your friend's having to text you once a month saying, hey, can you send me that $200, $300 you owe me? And that's always awkward for both parties. So that right away was like one thing that we thought we need to change this, because I think there's something very redeeming about helping people financially in the form of a loan. It's a great way to help a friend, but only if you can actually protect the relationship and manage the loan in a healthy way going forward.
Yeah, well, I personally feel like social media will destroy all of that friendship before anything else, because when they owe you money, you catch them posting new shoes on their post. I need you to pay me, okay? but let's talk a little bit about the Pigeon Loan. So what inspired you to launch it?
Yeah, during the 2008 financial crash, actually was the first time I was introduced to friends and family loans through my family. To be frank, my family really went through a very hard time financially. And I'll never forget seeing my father and mother have to do these loans with friends and family and how they were paying back for years. and the awkwardness and the friction, even keeping track of how much money was owed to who and when, and is there an interest rate, and where's the legality from a tax purposes around this. And it was just a huge problem. Then I got older, and as I borrowed from more people to start my first business, and then I came to the pandemic and was lending to friends, I realized, wow, this really sucks. We started looking online for solutions, saying, is there software that can manage this? You know, we're living in 2022. It feels like if you're doing anything on on a napkin or in an Excel spreadsheet, it might be better to put it on a software platform. So my co-founder and I, Brian, who also experienced a lot of the same problems, we built a very basic prototype of this thing. We started sharing it with our circles, and it started to catch on. People are like, hey, if I'm going to lend with someone, I'd rather do it on Pigeon Loans than just risk, all the awkwardness of having it totally offline. And one interesting stat for you all, less than 1% of all the loans in the world are actually done digitally, which is astonishing in this era. Now, that number is really exemplified by what's going on in Southeast Asia, Africa, Latin America. This is very common behavior worldwide. We're a unique beast here because we have this independent mentality where it's really hard to sometimes admit to people that you're not doing well financially. And I think it's really exciting. If we can bring that kind of helping your neighbor vibe to America, I think that can be a real game changer like it has been for so many other parts of the world.
Makes sense.
Well, you brought up the awkwardness. So what are some tips that people should follow to avoid the embarrassment, the frustration, and all the other issues that come with borrowing and lending from the people we love?
That's a great question. The first caveat I would say is if you're lending with someone, make sure your own house is in order first. We've seen stories of people who've lent when they really needed that money for their rent, for their child's school, for food, for things like that. Don't put yourself in a bad spot. If you're fortunate enough to help people, though, go in with a plan. Whether you use Pigeon Loans or use another product or do it on your own, make sure you talk about, hey, okay, we're doing this loan. How many months is it going to be? How much are you going to pay me back? And when are you going to pay me back? And how can we keep track of this? Being upfront about it too, saying, hey, I don't want this to get in front of our relationship. Our friendship is more important. This family is more important than money. And remember, Bloomberg just came out with this study, 27 million Americans, nearly 27 million Americans borrowed from friends and family last year. That's up 7 million than the year before, and estimates say it could be as high as 40 million. So we're going to see a lot of Americans have to go through this, and planning ahead is the real key. And if people do that, I think this can actually be a really beneficial thing to their lives and not a pain.
Well, Kevin, you definitely dropped some jewels on us today. Really quick, tell us where viewers can find you to get more information.
Yeah, you can go to pigeonloans.com or pigeonloans.io to use our product. Pigeon Loans is an entirely free product. Our business model is built around bringing all these loans onto our platform. We don't charge any fees to our users. And how we're going to monetize is by bringing a big user base, and then eventually we can advertise other financial products. We think that's the most beneficial way, especially in a financial time when so many people are hurting. We don't want to add another fee to this, so the product's really easy to use.
Awesome.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on today, Kevin.
Thank you for having me. Great to be with you both.
All right, Quincy, now from creating loans to coming up, creating music in the classroom. That's next on Main Street Living. Hey there, and welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, what was your favorite subject in school?
I'll be honest, any subject that I got a passing grade in.
Okay, I thought you were going to say lunch, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, I passed lunch, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, for many of us, it involves some kind of art or music because those classes were usually the most fun.
But the arts, especially music, are so much more than just fun for students, Danielle. They have benefits of boosting academic performance, collaboration skills, and memory, just to name a few.
Yeah. Liz Caruso has focused her career on making sure that her students appreciate music and all that it can bring to their lives, which is just one reason why she was named the 2021 Santa Barbara Bowl Performing Arts Teacher of the Year.
I'm Liz Caruso. I'm the elementary music teacher at Monroe Elementary School, Santa Barbara Unified School District. As a child, I was very shy, and music was one of the only ways that I was engaged and active in school. It was one of the only classes that I could participate in without having to speak up and raise my hand. So it's where I really blossomed, and it's where I learned to use my regular voice through using my instrument first. When I was in high school, a very influential music teacher in my life, John Brierly, made me the drum major of the marching band. And having that leadership role in high school is what led me into pursuing music education in college and becoming a music teacher. Doesn't matter if you know the words because they sound like... So I teach TK through 6th grade. Every single class gets to come and visit the most fun room in the school one time a week. It is about experiencing music, enjoying the love and the passion of creating music together. We sing, we dance, we play, we improvise, we create. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just enjoying the music and enjoying each other. How about the sunshine?
Liz, she's the calm in the storm, which an elementary music class is a storm, always. And that's a good thing. And she's just the center of the calm, just directing everyone, okay, you're going to do this now, you're going to do that.
I could tell that she loves music because she actually puts in her passion to it and tries to teach us a lot. And she tries to teach us the most she can in the time she has to in our music classes.
This is a place where all the walls are broken down. Students are always safe here. This is a place for them to express themselves, and it's a way for them to come together with students from different classes to make music, perform, to enjoy each other.
I love that it's so inviting and that anybody with any different background can come and just be themselves and play music.
Because everybody just likes playing the instruments and doing the fun stuff she has.
Once they reach 4th grade, they have an opportunity to pick a band or orchestra instrument that our school provides at no cost to the families. And by the time they graduate from 6th grade, they're performing at a junior high level standard for band and orchestra. It's a chance for them to express themselves in a unique way that they don't get in any other setting in school. For some kids, the first time they hold their instrument, it's like they've changed from just an ordinary student into a superhero. You know, might as well put a cape on their back. And I've seen so many kids transform over the years, from shy to leaders, from academically struggling to academically successful, from behavior problems to exemplary students. There's definite power in music.
Man, Quincy, I love what you said at the start there about how she was kind of shy and music class was like the one place that she felt like she could really kind of participate a little bit more, and then was so inspired by her own teacher. I just think teachers have such a huge impact on our children.
They really do, and I do feel for our teachers because of how thinly stretched they are across all the school systems now, especially coming back from COVID. But Such a good story, and we have to take a short commercial break, but when we return, we find out what is Pride Month all about. Up next.
Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, can you believe that June is already here?
Yes, this year is going by pretty fast. It's crazy.
That's right. But I'm just happy to see the warmer weather personally, and also the smell of barbecues isn't too bad either. But June also brings us Pride Month and the chance to learn about and celebrate the LGBTQ+ community.
That's right, and Kyle David is here to give us a little history and remind us what Pride Month is really all about. Welcome, Kyle, to Main Street Living. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We are doing pretty good. Kyle, I understand Pride Month began in the late 1960s, right? And then they started to march in the 70s. But how did Pride Month come to be, and what was the goal?
Right. So Pride Month initially started in 1969 in Manhattan, and it was all due to the Stonewall Uprising. For those of you who don't know, Stonewall Uprising the Stonewall was a bar in New York, and it was a safe haven for the LGBTQ community. At the time, in every state, homosexual acts were illegal. So the Stonewall Inn was really just a safe haven for the community. On June 28th, 1969, there was a police raid, and the members of that bar at the time were just very upset. And activist Marsha B. Johnson picked up a brick and threw it at a cop car, and that's what's going to be the official start of the modern day LGBTQ movement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's taken on an even grander form now. What purpose does Pride Month have in today's society? We've all heard about Pride parades. Is there more to it than that?
Absolutely. So Pride Month serves as a reminder for all of us, just, everything that all the people that we've lost for the battle of equality, that we have to continue to fight in order just to make our world a safer place for everyone. The parade is a huge part of Pride Month, but it's so much bigger than that. It's a reminder to every person that we're here, we're proud of who we are, and we're not going anywhere. There are so many organizations, whether that's nationwide or locally, that do really great work in the community. And, I would encourage anyone who has the resources, whether that be financial or just time, just to get out there and support your local organizations and just get, more involved and just help support the community.
Yeah, and you use the word support, Kyle. I know it's important to support, but also you guys encourage everyone to participate in Pride Month, even if they're not a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Why is that so important?
It's super great question. So I think that one of the biggest misunderstandings is that in order to be a part of the LGBTQ movement or parades or Pride Month, you have to be a part of the community. And that's just not true. Being an ally is just a huge support system for anybody who's in the community. If you know anyone who personally, whether that be a family member or a friend or a peer, being an ally and supporting them is means the world to them. For example, if you are a heterosexual cis male and you associate yourself with like-minded people, then showing them that you're comfortable with the community, the LGBTQ community, and you are involved really helps to give them more comfortability as well, to the point where they might want to participate as well in these events. So that is a huge support for the LGBTQ movement.
Okay.
Well, Kyle, we can see that you are a very valuable leader, and more specifically, you are a leader in one of Cox Communications' Pride ERGs, which stands for Employee Resource Group. What does that group do?
So the main goal of the Employee Resource Group is to enhance employee engagement and to also create a more meaningful experience in the workplace. We work with local nonprofit organizations to create volunteer opportunities for our employees, just to get them out there and engaged with our local nonprofit organizations. But we also create internal events as well, just for our employees to teach them more about the LGBTQ movement, as well as celebrate diversity.
Gotcha. And Cox is one of the most diverse companies that I know I've ever been affiliated with and work with. If a company or a business doesn't have one now, what are some quick tips for setting up an ERG in the workplace?
So the first thing I would say is just to identify what you're passionate about. For example, in Cox, a few of the ERGs that we have is Salute, which works with veterans. We have a women's ERG. We have a Lotus ERG, which is for members of the Asian and the Pacific Islander group, and also a Thrive ERG, which is for young professionals. So finding out what you're passionate about is the first step. Second step, just to get executive sponsorship and approval from your leadership, and then just start recruiting your members. Start making sure you have assigned roles for your leaders in the group, and what your goal is and what your objective is with your ERG. And then also just to reach out to the local communities and the nonprofits that coincide with your ERG, just to get your employees out there and active in the community.
Awesome.
Awesome. We so appreciate what you guys are doing with Cox Communications Pride ERG. How can viewers find out more about Pride Month?
Absolutely. So you can go to either yearview.com or usaprides.org for more information. You can also just look up your local LGBTQ centers and communities and look for ways to volunteer or support that way.
Awesome, Kyle. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and we certainly appreciate you being the leader here.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, Danielle, stick around because just like there's pride in the month of June, there's also pride when it comes to helping out fellow veterans like myself who are in need. All right. Stay right there. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. We love to see businesses supporting organizations that are doing good in our community. And Danielle, this is very impactful, especially when it impacts our veterans.
Absolutely. And a California law firm is providing support for Shelter to Soldier, a nonprofit organization that saves dogs and veterans in need. Let's take a look at how training is going for future service dog Barney.
Barney's doing great in his training. He has all of his foundation obedience check marked and finished.
Good job, Barney.
So he's now moving into what we call public access training, which is like, you know, a day like we're doing today, getting him out in the town, getting him into grocery stores, elevators, around more distractions in real life. At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community, individuals, entities, organizations, and companies to support our mission. The only way we can donate these animals is through that support.
Yep.
Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
Our community is everything. It's where we live, it's where we work, it's where we raise our children. As one of the leading law firms in California, we at the Barnes firm believe it is really important to give back to our community.
Our mission at Shelter to Soldier is twofold. We're saving lives two at a time. We adopt dogs from shelters and rescues across California, and we're training these dogs that are carefully evaluated for 12 to 18 months, and they're going to become psychiatric service dogs that are later placed with post 9/11 combat veterans.
The veteran gets to pick the dog. It's like a matching process, a little speed dating. They come in, and based on like their lifestyle, their needs, we set them up with different dogs that fit that criteria, and then they get a pick who's going to be the best fit for them.
The Barnes firm is honored to support Shelter to Soldier because our founder, Steve Barnes, was a captain in the Marines and served in Desert Storm. And our firm is founded on the military principles of hard work, dedication, integrity, and service. And so it was a natural fit for us to collaborate with Shelter to Soldier.
This team of amazing individuals has come together, and they've actually sponsored 3 dogs, one of them being our pal Barney. He's just a handsome chocolate lab pointer mix, we believe, rescued out of a shelter, believe it or not. And he was named after the late Steve Barnes, which brings a lot of personal meaning to the team at the Barnes firm, to our organization. So being able to carry on that legacy through Barney's work and helping fellow veterans, really important to everybody, us included.
It's quite an honor for us to have Barney join the family, and we're looking forward to meeting the service member who he's paired up with.
Yeah, Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young. We've been fortunate to help almost 50 veteran service dog teams to date. We have 29 dogs in for training currently, and 16 teams in training from those 29 dogs. Our goal is to continue to help those in need, both canine and human. And you know, it's hard to say no when someone reaches out and they need help, and you can feel and sense their desperation. We want to have more yeses, so we can do that with more support.
Wow, Danielle, you know, I can confirm, you know, as a veteran myself, I have friends who are veterans, and they would say a service dog like Barney has 100% been life-changing.
Yes, how cute is Barney? I just want to pet him. For more information about this incredible program, click over to thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier. And don't go anywhere, because straight ahead we have more Main Street Living. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, I don't know about you, but that was a great show, and I'm ready to kick off my summer now.
Well, I know who else is kicking off the summer. We were talking about this at the top of the show, but my neighbor's out there cutting the grass, and he's upsetting me because he's leaving that line. So it's going to show his yard looks better than mine, and I'm sick of it. He does it every beginning of the summer.
But does he have his own TV show? No, he doesn't.
You know what? He doesn't, and I'm sure he can catch other episodes if he's missed this one on our Cox Contour app.
That's right. New shows at 9 p.m. on Mondays.
Well, the best part about it, Cheryl, we miss you and we will see you soon, but we will see you guys right back here again next time for another exciting show on the Main Street.